Here to do a podcast. I felt like we needed an intro song. As a Carnal Sage, I ask, why can't we all just get along? Oh, why can't we all just get along?
I like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like it.
I was just fucking around.
Why can't we all just get along?
What? I don't understand.
It's a nature not to. Conflict is life.
Alright, I think we're ready to start.
Yeah, good.
Podcast. This is what, Saturday, May the 4th be with you all.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. It's May 4th.
Yeah, this was like pretty much a holiday for me. Like, I'm such a big Star Wars nerd.
More than Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, I actually have 35 different Star Wars shirts, and I've tried to donate them away, but I've worn so many that people actually start giving them to me. Sorry, our guest
34,
today.
34 is the limit.
Like it's more than like you could wear in a month.
Yeah.
Like if you wore a different Star Wars shirt every day for a month. Yeah. So my guest today and is Stan Whitton. This is our first video podcast for the Carnal Sage. I think this is like the 21st episode. Or
you have that many?
Yeah. I mean, I have a few with Cody, a few with Jay, a lot of comedians, a few different artists, some business owners and things. Mm-hmm. Some of those people don't want to ever be seen on camera.
Sure.
Many of them were like, "Hey, would you take that down because I don't want to self-incriminate."
Getting 1-star reviews in my business now.
Oh man. Stan Whitton is an amazing comedian. You've been at it for how long now?
10 years.
10 years.
And not amazing. For 10 years, I should be way better. But yeah, 10 years.
Well, I mean, you didn't devote yourself to it completely.
No.
You didn't like.
I gotta pay my rent.
Yeah, that's the hard thing about being a small town.
Have kids.
Have you lived in Bend this entire time?
26 years.
26 years in Bend?
Yeah,
I'm 16, so yeah.
16, OG Bend. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like I'm for sure a resident now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your card.
After 5 years, I feel like, oh, I'm a Bendite now.
You can bitch at Bay Area people after like 6 months once you move here.
Yeah, right? Yeah. You can tell the California drivers just got the new plates.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you still drive that way, Dick. So yeah, this is kind of a new format for us. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, the video and sound quality will be all good, and start getting your following soon. Also, to let you know, this is brought on by Broner Productions and supported by a few other things. Anchor Podcasting is one of our sponsors as well. And you gotta throw those plugs in there. You know, at least to begin with.
Yeah, I get a Broner in the morning.
Yeah. Well, Jake and I have this connection. Like.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. Broner. Like, oh, if I could get hard for you, I would. I can't.
You can't.
Dude, I'm
good.
stereotypically straight. Like, I'm not just stereotypically bend now with the beard.
Yeah.
And like,
you need a hard part now with your beard.
Right. Yeah. Like, roll up my sleeves.
Uh-huh.
Smoke fancy cigarettes. Drink micro craft brew only.
Get a flannel.
The other stereotypes. But I'm also stereotypically white male Oregonian, straight as fuck.
I wish I was gay, or at least bi. I mean, especially gay. I would never work another fucking day ever in my entire life.
Yeah, you can get a sugar daddy, no problem.
Oh, I'd be in Palm Springs, just sitting by the pool, just driving Mercedes. Oh yeah, it's Palm Desert, Palm Springs. Yeah, just 5 minutes a week. That's all. Just 5 minutes a week. But no, I gotta work.
5 minutes a week.
That's your work week.
Dude,
that's your work week. If you're
right.
Good. If you're good.
Which you would be, because you got one.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be able to do it really well. I can't.
Did you ever hear Alex Rios' joke? What do you think dick tastes like? I think it tastes like arm.
No.
It's one of my favorite jokes.
I've not heard that.
Arm.
No, I like Louis C.K.'s version on it. What does he say?
Oh, the nicest stuff in the world, like if it's the best whatever, fill in the blank, and then it goes to if it's the nicest cock in the that one?
No.
Oh, no, okay.
No, the like it's just got to take something out of you every time.
Oh yeah.
And you're looking at it. And like, oh you.
Yeah.
Like, is that how a woman feels? Like, I've been with women that don't really like to do it, and then I've been with women that crave it.
Yeah, crave it. Yeah,
like
yeah,
and then, and you never see a drop of what you do. Like, it's
those are keepers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also tend to be the crazy
No,
ones.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I said, keeper.
Well, you know, crazy chicks are also usually the best sex too. But
I read
not worth it.
I read a book on this hostage negotiation thing from the FBI. This guy's a hostage negotiator from the FBI. Guy's brilliant. He's the best in the world at it. And he's talking about his tactics, and he's dealing with terrorists and drug lords and, you know, just the worst crazy people.
Right.
And then he writes this brilliant book, and I was like, I know a lady that's the craziest human being I've ever met in my life ever. It blew up immediately. I'm like, I'm gonna take that one out again. I want to see if these tactics work. I'm just curious.
Oh, like kind of like the art of war.
Yeah,
like, all right, I want to put this to a field test.
Yeah, and it worked. I could
Did you actually do that?
Oh, absolutely. I could predict what she was gonna say pretty much before she would say it. Yeah, but then, the second time I hung out, I was like, oh, this is not worth it. This is so far off into the deep end.
Right, and then you're kind of compromising your own values at that point too.
Exactly.
Because you're not being like honest.
Exactly.
But I bet that sex was really good though.
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't close the deal?
I didn't close the deal.
Oh man.
No, I'm kind of glad I didn't. Like, I'm never glad I didn't. There's a few in life. You're like, I'm kind of glad I didn't. I kind of just like Neo, just dodging the bullet.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of those.
Anyway.
Yeah, every time you go to a family reunion, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So this is awesome, dude. We've never actually gotten to sit down and just have a conversation, the two of us.
I know.
Which is weird because I feel like I've known you a while now.
A few years.
A
couple of years.
Yeah, two.
Well,
I've been doing comedy for 2.5 years now.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing a lot of shows lately.
I know.
I've been catering shows.
Catering. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like.
Well, that's better money. Obviously,
it is better money.
And a better job.
Even when I give them like a good deal, it's still better money.
Mm-hmm.
I can undercut anybody in town. I've been cooking for so long. 18 years I've been cooking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well done. And it's
how many
not
burgers
like
that is?
It's not like you get to retire in 20. It's like and now I've got 26 more years to go.
None of that stuff is like put
job.
towards like any retirement program or anything. No, you're lucky if you get tips in my career. Like,
wow. I'm 23 years into my career.
Yeah.
I've got about 44 more to go for retirement.
For retirement?
Yeah. About
you mean dying?
More to go. Yeah.
Well, luckily I don't have to live very long because the chef lifestyle.
Life choices.
It's just a rough lifestyle.
It's the same as barbers. It's so. Being single for a while and the dating thing, I finally realized, after too many women, I realized I can only date female comics, female barbers, I'm a barber, or people in the service industry, bartender, cocktail waitress, cook. The rest are civilians, and I can't fucking deal. I don't know how to.
So
deal with
why do you think that is? I mean, those are
because they're
usually...
around civilized people. I don't like civilized people. They're horrible people. I like.
Oh.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
I can't do it. It's like going to the Christmas party with in-laws and shit. Yeah, no, I can't. No.
Yeah.
They're just regular people, like, and they're better than me by far. I don't know, but
maybe income-wise or
I don't know. I can't do it. I have to be around service industry people.
Yeah, because service industry people and comic. Yeah,
it's all the same.
We're all shameless.
Yeah.
There's like the shamelessness that.
Or real.
Yeah. Well, and also not very judgy. Usually.
Usually.
There's outliers.
There are.
I don't know. This Mark Rupp character is getting to me.
I hate Germans, so yeah.
I hate Germans. You look so German.
Oh, I'm German as fuck. My grandma is German, born, raised, speaks German. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I hate them. They're so terrible. They're just horrible people. If you're German, I don't like you. I'm not gonna apologize. I'm sorry.
I haven't done the 23andMe yet, but I plan on it. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing that I'm like 95% English.
Yeah, you look pretty.
I think I'm just like almost straight English.
Except the teeth are good. You got really good teeth.
That's bought, you know.
No, I know, but still, genetically, they don't even buy it. Just let it go.
Yeah, not British.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe that's the other 5%. I don't know. I was born with a lot of freckles, and I grew up being told those are angel kisses. I was like, well, I was having an orgy right before birth. That's why I was probably upset there at first.
I was told it was.
Then I got that tit.
Mama's titties. Mom had good titties.
Oh man, you know, I really should work on like getting some really good sponsors. You know, like the Carnal Sage, brought to you by Fireball.
That would be a great sponsor.
Yeah, Fireball would be a great sponsor. I've been sponsoring them for a while now.
I have a friend that has a Fireball logo tattooed on him because he drinks so much Fireball.
Really?
Yeah. Shout out to Nick McCallion. He's got a Fireball tattoo.
I'm actually ashamed. I prefer Goldschlager, but they don't offer it very many places because it makes everyone think of high school. Yeah. Like, even you're like, oh yeah, Goldschlager, high school, locker.
Ah shit, gold for a week. Yeah.
But that was 45% as opposed to 35, which, as a true alcoholic, as I am,
that's not
a spiritual alcoholic, by the way. That's why
spiritual alcoholic.
Yeah,
I call myself an educational alcoholic. So I like spiritual.
That.
Yeah.
No, I'm a spiritual everything I consume because that's why where the whole Carnal Sage thing comes in. I have all this like spiritual knowledge and things that resonate as true for me, and yet I follow none of those paths. Like, I'm very Lao Tzu, like Zen oriented. I'm sure you've heard of the Tao Te Ching. Yeah,
I'm a Kung Fu guy. Yeah.
No,
you're not mistaking the moon or the finger pointing at the moon for the moon.
Right. Yeah. And so I'll drink to that. That's kind of my thing. Nah, I'm sure there's lots of other people out there like that. They're like, well, you know, I gave up Jesus, but he seemed pretty cool. And, you know, I still try to treat other people like I want to be treated. But I want to do what the fuck I want to do and not be judged for it.
I'm spiritual, not religious. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm spiritual, but I say fuck a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to our first segment, Zen cards. I got these when I was getting a couples stone massage.
Stoned or stone?
Stone.
Oh.
Yeah, like hot stones. Yeah, like 13 years ago with this naughty night nurse I was dating. She was my first thing after I got divorced. Ooh. So it must have only been 12 years ago.
The rebound.
Yeah, because my son was less than 1 before I got divorced. That way, you know, it wouldn't damage him.
At all.
Yeah, well, he's a Gemini too, so he's already got 2 personalities.
Gemini, I know.
Well, you're a Gemini too, right? Yeah. I'm sure you have.
I don't believe in that, and I so believe in it because, oh my god, is it fucking accurate with Geminis?
So our Zen card of the day is happiness.
Okay.
Happiness comes from within. If you choose to be happy, no one and no thing can ever take that happiness from you. Yeah, I believe that.
No, I mean, at the deepest level. Now, we can take anything to the extreme, of course. Well, someone points the gun at your forehead and you get anxiety. You know what? You can actually still choose to be happy. You can. Oh, now it's not going to be easy, but it's right. Literally true. It's literally true.
Well, I mean, that'll probably throw a gunman off too. Like, you know.
Did you ever hear the story?
Why are you so happy? I'm like, well, you should meet my wife.
I've been waiting
for you. Please pull the trigger. I prayed for your ass.
Have you heard the cheesy story of the Zen master, the bad general with the sword? A long story, but anyway, he puts the sword up to the Zen master, and he's badass general, and he's like, do you not know who I am? I could run this sword right through you and not even blink an eye. And the Zen master's like, do you not know who I am? You could run that sword right through me, and I wouldn't blink an eye. I love that.
I have not heard that.
Oh, it's so good. I just took a long story and made like 2 sentences.
That's really good though, because like, if someone doesn't care what you can do to them, why do that thing? Yeah. That's kind of a really perfect answer to that type of deal.
And I struggle with it. I mean, I always want somebody to make me happy.
And I'm always trying to make somebody else happy. Yeah. I'm a people pleaser like that.
Well, we're comics.
Well, yeah.
Grew up fundamentalist.
Grew up fundamentalist myself. Yeah.
No, I know. Christian. Yeah. Oh yeah. We both have the same background. Fundamentalist Christian upbringings. Yeah. Raised Catholic, molested Baptist, like that one comic said. I can't remember his name. He was so good. I'm quoting a guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh man. As long as you're not taking it as your own.
Oh no. Yeah. I'm not that smart. I could not have thought of that.
Yeah, but now I still feel like I'm spiritual, but like a lot of my spirituality comes from like reading my horoscope when I'm taking a shit in the morning. Yeah. Or you know, like I like to pray when I'm in the missionary position.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing somebody else say God.
Yeah. That's real spiritualism.
I mean, yeah, for me.
Everybody's got their own path.
Yeah. You know, you're not judged for how many wines you took for communion. Mm-hmm. And I like to eat a loaf of bread because if it's Jesus' body, I want the whole
thing.
Yeah. I want a whole leg. Like,
you want Jesus
how many
bread.
people we split this with?
Yeah.
12? 12 people are splitting this body? What were the portions?
In first century Palestine, short people, not very big, so that's not a lot of bread. Yeah, he's like,
we're bigger now.
I love Surfer Jesus, and it's like, nah, he kind of looked like Danny DeVito.
I like Buddy Jesus because he's like,
yeah.
I like to think of Jesus as an animated character, and white, but with a tan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, white with a tan.
Yeah.
I know he probably wasn't.
I don't think he existed, but that's.
You don't think he was a person, an actual person?
I don't think he was. I know that John the Baptizer was a person. He actually shows up in history that is outside of the canonized version of the
Jesus doesn't. I thought I'd done the research for that already.
He doesn't. No.
I thought he was an actual person
during the time. I'm not saying he was. He might have been. I'm not saying. I'm not a historian. I read a lot.
I believe in a majority of the miracles and stuff. Still, I believe that he was an actual person.
Yeah.
Just because I believe in other enlightened beings in a human form, like Buddha for me is another one. Like that was an enlightened.
There was a Siddhartha.
Being.
There was an actual Gautama Siddhartha.
Yeah, he was a prince. And I know the whole story.
He actually wasn't technically a prince.
He wasn't technically a prince?
Not technically a prince, no.
I'm learning things now.
No, actually, Brandon, let me.
Please. That's the uneducated philosophy of this whole.
No, I thought he was for a very, very long time.
Yeah,
because that's how they always tell the story, you know. And then I was reading this guy that was a scholar that's way beyond me, and he was talking about that time in India, and he was talking about the politics that Siddhartha had to play. Because of the power struggles at that time, for him to get that, what was it? What's the name of the forest grove that he?
Where he got enlightenment, where he hung out under the tree and starved himself.
Yeah, and then he set up his little his sangha, his little community, the something grove. I think it's Forest Grove or something. I can't. Gosh darn it.
Place right outside of Portland.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. There's the subsidiary in Pineville. But how he got that was influencing this one king who was kind of taking over all these areas. But he was kind of talking about like his father wasn't a king and he wasn't a prince. It was more like these little fiefdoms that were a lot smaller and not nearly as powerful. And there was actually one big guy that was had the biggest military.
Right, he wasn't that guy.
Yeah, he wasn't the big. No. But I mean, he was the
he was
head
still
of his
like,
village. If you like a Native American tribe, you were the chief's kid kind of ish.
Right.
It was more like that.
Right. You still got special treatment.
Absolutely.
Right. Because
no castle.
What about the whole like him not getting to see the
death and disease?
Yeah, and all that stuff. Because that really makes sense.
I think that's a little more myth than real, but I don't know.
Right.
Because it's more of a tribal.
Right. I believe there's a lot of that kind of stuff.
I think it's more.
Too.
I think exactly. I think it was more allegory in a sense that he wanted to try to figure out, why am I seeing this death? Why am I seeing this disease? Why am I seeing suffering, dukkha, or whatever you want to call it?
Right.
You know? How do we get out of this? I don't think he was protected from it. I think it makes the story better. Like any story. I mean, it makes
Well, so as far as I am concerned, and you could definitely convince me otherwise. I don't like talking to car salespeople because I always end up leaving with something. But like I consider like Jesus, Buddha, Thoth, or Hermes, like these are like enlightened people that embody human form.
Sure.
And like they have they still have like a spiritual power and essence, even just in their name.
Oh sure.
I would say.
Sure.
Jesus' name, like people have said that term at the end of dinner so many times in my life. In Jesus' name.
Yeah.
Amen.
Instead of Joseph, his real name.
Right. What?
Well, he's Jewish.
He was a junior?
His name was Joseph.
We could have called him Junior?
We could have been calling him Junior his whole fucking time.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
No, that would have worked.
I'm sorry, no. I mean, Joshua. I fucked up.
Oh.
It's Joshua. It's
Well, Joseph was dad.
Yeah,
right?
Joseph's dad. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm sorry.
That would have been Junior.
Joshua. Yeah. Sorry.
Joshua.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Yeah,
that
because the
J's
are Y's pronounced and yeah.
So how do you feel about
But yeah,
life,
the name does it just
like life and consciousness after death? Like do you think that there's still a remnant or a what do you call it? Like reincarnation's one thing. You know, I personally feel like there's some kind of, at least part of your consciousness that reincarnates and develops, you know, as you go through different lifetimes, and maybe you had chose a course that you might do. Not that I want to get into predestination, but how do you feel about that? How do you feel about you know, just because Buddha or Jesus and Thoth are dead right now, do you think that there's still an entity that is able to, you know, still not converse, but, you know, interact with our nature?
That's a good question. I'm gonna quote Bill Maher, and
yes,
I believe
I like that you're quoting a right-wing conservative.
Yeah, very,
sort of
very
guy.
right-wing. Yeah, that guy, corporate whore. I belong to the Church of I Don't Know. That being said, we all have our own ideas, you know, our own. So my own ideas, I have no scientific backing. I have no spiritual, but these are my own personal things that I think I don't know. I feel like.
But you've done plenty of hallucinogens.
I've done a lot of reading on different religions.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to fill that fundamentalist gap once I left that with, you know, Eastern philosophy on.
I felt that was
I've done a lot of hallucinogens, and DMT really helped with this thing I'm about to spew, because DMT, when they say, you know, the DMT in your pineal gland, some say that scientists say that when you go into REM sleep, you're secreting DMT and you're tripping, and so the dream thing freaks me out. Like when you're dreaming, so I feel like, and I don't know, I have no idea, but I feel like in, you know, the whole quantum string theory, M theory world, they talk about different dimensions. I feel like there's that multiverse of infinite dimensions, like infinite use, infinite possibilities, and I feel like when I'm sleeping in that dream state, which is a DMT state, that it's like all these radio signals that are me and infinitely, and sometimes they'll rub up against each other. So am I remembering another dimensional thing? I don't know, it feels like it. And then I also feel like biologically, as we pass on our genetic traits to our children and stuff, I think that we might possibly pass on even memory, even like the essence of what is you. I feel like I might have dreams that maybe that's something my great-great-great-grandfather had experienced. I don't know. I feel like it's this weird amalgamation. So that afterlife thing, I don't want this consciousness, this thing called Stan that's thinking right now that I'm labeling, I don't want this shit to go on forever, obviously. That's when people talk about heaven, like, oh, it'll be great forever and ever. Like, really? You want to be fucking thinking like this forever? Like, well, I don't even like being 45 and doing it. So I want it to you know, seep into other things.
Right, maybe
it does.
Maybe a part of other thing.
So I just rambled, and that didn't make any sense.
No, that did, because it brings up a really important question that I like to talk about, and that science has not addressed. Because I really do research a lot of science, and it is starting to back up a lot of my spiritual beliefs, kind of. Obviously, reincarnation is not on the spiritual or on the scientific, you know, diagram right now. Yeah. But one of the things I am super curious about is like what consciousness is. Like,
what is it?
So
what is consciousness? To me, it's everything.
I think it's super important, but like I think that's what reincarnates, but that doesn't mean that's how your brain works.
Sure.
It's more like what that piece of God that he separated from himself experiences. Even if so, say we just wiped all of the Stan you know away.
Yeah.
And you woke up clean slate.
Yeah.
Same body, same everything.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Still same consciousness, but you wouldn't be the same Stan.
No.
Because you wouldn't have all of those other built up, you know, patterns, addictions. Yeah, because our brain is what builds all those like pathways. And what science is figuring out now is that like our brain is actually mostly designed to block information out.
Yeah.
Because and I think like people are like, oh, you only use 10-15% brain. No, you only use that much for how you deal with your day.
Yeah.
How you deal with how you handle your life. I think the rest of it is blocking out other dimensions, other entities that could be totally around us all the time. People that channel. Have you ever been around channelers?
Only one that I think actually does.
I've been around several.
Yeah, I've been around people that say they can. I don't think they can. And I've been around the one that doesn't talk about it much. No, but the way they talk, and just knowing their personalities. But I've met one that I actually think does. It made me go down that path of I'm gonna be very open minded to this person.
Yeah, which is cool. That's like an opening. Like that changes brain patterns. You know that. Yeah. Once you actually like
I'm so skeptical
willing
guy, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, I am too because I've grown up around.
Car salesman.
I mean, yeah, pastors or same thing. Whatever.
Yeah. Amen.
To the first time I ever went to a Sunday school, or no, it was a vacation Bible school. Remember VBS growing up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's the first VBS I ever went to. I think I must be like third grade or something. And one kid had been acting up all day, being kind of a dickhead, you know. And of course he was like,
oh, so I was there.
Yeah, I know. You were teaching. It was probably like the low income kid who gets beat and gets 2 packs of, secondhand smoke and a single wide every night.
Poor kid.
Yeah, but he'd been already trained a certain way, so he was acting out. And the leader of the group, I'm not going to call him a pastor. I'm not sure what he was.
I like that. I'm not going to call him by the leader guy. The guy in charge.
The guy that was like, hey, I'll lead VBS. That's always a winner. I like children. So he calls this kid up, and he pulls out. Asks him to close his eyes, and he pulls out a chunk of jalapeno pepper, obviously cut from the top. I only know that now because I'm a chef.
Yeah,
I'm like,
is a chef. Yeah.
That is the spicy part.
Oh, that's really?
Well, yeah, near the stem and like the more pith and seeds.
Okay.
Yeah, that. So it was a nice, decent chunk slice, you know, and most kids don't have a tolerance to spicy food.
I don't, as a 45-year-old.
My kid has one that's better than mine now, but I trained it from early on.
Yeah, it's child abuse. Anyway.
So anyway, he puts that in the kid's mouth. The kid was thinking he was going to get like a cracker and say, "Oh yeah, it tastes like Jesus's dick" or whatever. He was going to say something stupid, but instead he like starts like weeping, like not crying because he's not allowed to be unmasculine in front of a group.
Tough it up.
Like I'm gonna pick on these kids later. I can't cry right now. He's like, "Is that hot?" The lady's like, "Is that hot?" And the kid goes, "Yeah." And like, "Is your mouth burning?" What do you say? He's like, "Yeah, it's burning." He's like, "Well, imagine that feeling over your entire body for eternity."
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll give Jesus a shot. That was pretty terrifying to me.
Fear's a great motivator.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Oh.
There's no better motivator than fear.
Oh my God, it's how I make my relationships work.
Absolutely.
Or not work. I've been a serial monogamous for too long. But yeah, no, I thought that was interesting that's the way they were teaching, at least as I was growing up.
Yeah.
And it seems like Christianity has kind of lightened up a bit over the years.
Mostly. Because they're losing numbers, and if you're going to recruit, you got to make
you still need your 10%.
You got millennials. You got to make boot camp easier, right? I mean,
yeah.
If you're gonna get
I grew up being told that like weed was witchcraft.
Oh yeah.
Because
yoga.
Because it comes from pharma. Any drug is a pharma.
Yeah.
And so
yoga is witchcraft.
Well,
like really stretching and breathing.
Stretching and breathing,
is the devil.
Have you ever done any breathing exercise, like holotropic breathing or
only
fire breath?
I did a breath work class once. It was kind of neat. I've only done one, and it was neat. But the only breath stuff I've done is all been Chinese martial arts stuff, and that's
actually how I learned how to meditate. It was Tien Taijutsu was the
cool
training the guy was giving me at the time. He was a Christian friend of mine when I lived over in Portland because I was married. I got married at 18 because I really wanted to take that bitch's virginity.
Yeah.
And
I did the
Sorry,
not
Shauna.
the same age, but yeah.
She's a great mother to my child.
Sure.
I absolutely think she's an amazing woman. But yeah. So this guy taught me like breathing techniques that were ninjutsu related. Like, and like if you could get deep enough into them, you could like astral travel. But really, it just led to meditative states for me.
Nice.
And so I would like picture numbers and stuff very specifically, like as I was counting them. And then your brain, like when you get fully focused and you take like your conscious brain and you fully focus it on something like your breath and then plus like a visualization, there's this other part of your brain that starts being free, and that's super interesting to me. And I feel like that's what your consciousness is. But
have you gone?
You can't define it.
Yeah, you can't define it. So I call it the observer in a sense that so let's say simple meditation technique. Maybe you're just counting your breaths, whatever it is, and like they say, they take the jar of dirty water and shake it and then hold it, and then after a while it'll start to settle eventually, and then you have the clear water, and that's kind of the way the mind is. Things start to settle.
Right.
Just stay there.
I do the leaves on the creek.
I like that. But there's that consciousness monkey mind that we just live in all day long, and then when that starts to settle, all of a sudden there's this other consciousness observing that, and you're like, oh shit,
yeah,
what is that?
It's like there's two consciousnesses.
Have you ever had the third one? I've only had it once, where there's once you keep settling and keep settling and keep settling and keep settling, the monkey mind starts to almost evaporate, and then the I call it the observer mind, whatever.
Yeah, that's a common term for that. Yeah.
All of a sudden, that starts to settle, and then this one is watching that one, and I'm like, how far does this go? I don't know. And I've only gone that far. I haven't gone any further. But I'm like,
I don't know if I've ever.
How far does this go?
I don't know if I've gotten that far.
And then I had a really difficult.
Because that's like the one that's I imagine that's the one that knows everything.
Maybe, I don't know. I only
like the unified field consciousness, like the
felt it for just a very tiny, I don't even know, very short period. Because once I was aware of it, then I'm aware of it, so it doesn't exist anymore. And that sucks, because once you're aware, well, obviously now you're back to your monkey mind. So
what I refer to that as, like at least for the way I've developed my post-Christian spirituality, is the Akashic records. Have you ever heard of that term?
I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it.
So the Akashic records, like if you Google it or whatever, it's basically all human experience and knowledge, or conscious experience and knowledge, past, present, and future, because it's not relative to time.
Sure.
And so it has everything you need to ever know within it, or anything you would even possibly think of asking. It's right there. And I've seen my brother tap into it one time on mushrooms.
Yeah.
Because my brother's like, he has kind of a more spiritually sensitive spirit.
Sure.
Where I'm very resistant and very questioning of everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I feel like
he's more open. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? How do you
take that?
You're
and put
high
it on
as fuck.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's like, dude, I'm like, he's like, part of my brain is in this thing.
Yeah.
They're calling it the Rainbow River. I'm like, who's they? He's like, the people that are speaking in my brain right now. And so I started asking him questions. Yeah. And then I started asking him questions I didn't know the answers to, that I had to Google. And he knew everything. Wow. It freaking blew my mind. Yeah. And it was one of those just like really weird trips. And then I started asking stuff for myself personally after he kind of already proven that. Like, he's like, I don't know. They say this. Yeah. But he was like, I was like, what? I started asking questions like, well, what's keeping me from that kind of level, of spirituality and intake? And they say they can only tell you that it's a block that you yourself have put there intentionally. Yeah. Or something like that. And I was like, well, that's not encouraging. However, that does mean like I have my own purpose, or, things I'm already trying to learn in this lifetime and this consciousness. Like my personal belief, my nature of reality belief is along the lines of there is something that's God-like-ish. I like to think of it as almost everything everything, like just how everything, just how it fits together. Like there's a consciousness behind all of that got bored and decided, let me just experience everything separately.
I like, yeah. What did
so that we're all kind of part of the same being.
Yeah.
But we're all separate chunks of it.
Bill Hicks.
Just figuring it out.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Bill Hicks does great.
Experiencing itself objectively. The universe experiencing itself objectively.
Young man knows acid today.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that bit.
I love
That's
that.
a great bit.
It's so well said. Yeah, it got bored.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, because I get bored.
Yeah, of course.
Like I can't do the right thing all the time. Like I can act out the right thing, but I gotta be doing something wrong behind it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's kind of my role in this life. That's why I really like that. I resonate to that Carnal Sage thing. I'm like, okay, I can look perfect from the outside. My credit score is not high right now, but it's building. I've been building it up. Everything could look like I'm just doing a really good job, but I'm doing secret shots in the bathroom, or
blow off a hooker's boobie and
right. I'm blowing this into the hood in front of on an open line.
Yeah. Are you a Marvel fan at all? Did you watch the Endgame?
Oh yeah, just saw it.
Okay. So this is silly that I'm quoting, but I love this
possible spoiler alerts.
Spoiler. It's been a week. Fuck you. If you haven't seen it, fuck off.
Yeah, you're obviously not much of a fan.
It's over a week.
I mean, you could have got in by now, really.
Yeah,
if you
unless
really
you're
wanted
a kid,
to.
and you probably should be watching this.
Unless you're my kid.
Mom hasn't taken me. Yeah, unless you're his kid. Grew up on South Park. I love the cheesy Thor thing with the mom. It just resonated so much with this experience I recently had.
Right.
Which I'll tell you in a second. It's lame. But,
No. I like that was one of my favorite parts too, because he's all fat. Oh, sorry.
But when his mom says it and then he accepts it at the end, everybody fails at who they're trying to be or what they're just be who you are. And like this whole spiritual journey that I've gone through, post Christianity, I recently completely gave up on, and there's a story behind it. And all of a sudden this movie comes out and it's like, I fucking failed at who I'm supposed to be. So I'm just gonna be
for like the last 3 months you were doing a what? Like
3.5, 4 months I was just
moral cleanse of some kind?
Yeah. I wasn't socializing very much. I was staying in my little basement thing. Just being by myself. Just I've been doing it kind of for a year, but at the same time I was always going out and dating and this and that and having fun.
Yeah.
Partying. But I needed to cut every kind of thing out, just
So you cut out everything? Like you weren't getting laid? You weren't?
No, that's my favorite thing, and I didn't none of that. Zero of that. Yeah. Well, that's everybody's favorite thing.
Right.
I would still partake with alcohol from time to time. I still smoke a little weed, and that was pretty much it.
God, that's just kindergarten shit.
But just like in this basement, there's no fuck. You can't tell what day it is, what time it is. That's where I was living.
Because I didn't realize you were. I've never been to your place.
Oh, I got a different place now. It's a
much
new
brighter,
chapter, much better chapter in life. But so what happened is, and this has been going on for like 8-9 years. This spiritual journey.
Yeah, and I've heard you talk slightly about it before.
And
stuff.
everybody that wants to go on that journey, they all go on it in their own way.
Right.
But I had this moment.
Sober after tomorrow for weeks.
Yeah, that's gonna be brutal.
I'm gonna hope I can sleep.
I don't think you should do it. You're not gonna sleep. You're not gonna sleep. I'm sorry.
I still have you on video camera
call
going.
Me at 3 o'clock.
I was like, I was just engaged. And you're like, I'm so glad you're not getting married.
Yeah.
You're right. It would have been a mistake. But,
yeah.
So anyway.
People that like wake up, that if you want to call it enlightenment or whatever, the Eckhart Tolles of the world, whatever you want to call it.
There's an awakening.
Yeah. And we all have little ones. We all have awakenings. Mm-hmm. But like the one, like where you literally fucking wake up. I was going to watch a movie, and I've only told a couple people this. So I'm going to watch a movie.
You're still only telling a couple people.
I know. I know. That's why I'm sharing it, or else I would. And I'm eating chili fries, whatever. And all of a sudden, I'm at Red Robin eating chili fries, and while I'm doing that, I fucking woke up. And I can't describe it. It's like an acid.
What were you thinking about?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Chili fries?
And it lasted like 12 minutes. So the way my senses work.
Where were you?
Red Robin.
Red Robin.
Red Robin.
Red Robin. Another sponsor, hopefully in the future.
Give this guy some.
I want endless fries for life.
So people can believe me or don't believe me. I don't care. I know what happened in my own. But so like 12 minutes ish. You know, I think. Wow.
You had like 12 minutes of clarity.
And I realized that like once you're awake, like literally awake, you're also it's like when you're in control of hallucinogens, you're also in the real world too, of course. You know, you have feet in both worlds.
Yeah, when you're in control.
Yeah, and you're in control, exactly. Psychonauts that understand that. So then it passed because I kind of needed it too. I know I couldn't stay in that state. No, I couldn't go to work.
I think that's what like Jesus-y people do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I'm not the guy to stay in that state.
Right.
I was just so glad to. So for like another week, I would wake up every once in a while, like for a minute, maybe 2 minutes.
Oh, really?
For like a week, just here and there throughout the day, and it was like.
You're having that moment.
Oh my god! And I had never been
like you're peaking on something really good.
Yeah.
But just
and I'd never been more content with existence. You know, I don't want to say happy. I was just content. Like, wow, man. And then this is the other part. After that, you know, it was roughly like 6-7 days. Then one day on my day off, I'm just sitting on the carpet playing guitar, not doing anything. I had one of these like. Typical anxiety attacks that people have.
The opposite of that.
The opposite of that, but it was so much different. It was so much different than typical. And I've had 6-7 hour panic anxiety attacks in the past that were really hard. You know,
those are intense.
I've
had a lot of small ones.
Yeah, and I medication and stuff helped out. Long story short, it was different. It was just different, and I hated it so much. I got in my car. I started driving around. I called a friend. It was even hard to talk. It was hard to make sounds come out of my mouth make sense. It was such an awful experience. And I kept thinking, just write it out. And it just kept escalating. And I got to a point where this is going to escalate unless I jump off a bridge or something. Like, this is never going to stop. This is the opposite of the awakening thing. And once I just went, well, if that's it, that's it. You know, I just kind of total acceptance.
Just gave up.
And I call it, Amy Campbell called it. I loved it. She labeled it. It was red, and I'm stealing this from her. The girl Jake's been hanging out with.
Yeah.
Radical acceptance.
Give it up to that radio station.
KPOV. KPOV gave me, yes. The lady that runs that is radical acceptance. And I'm like, exactly. And as soon as that happened, then it started going down. And it went down way faster than it went up. It was gone in 20 minutes. And since then, I'm like, yeah, I'm done with the spiritual journey. I'm done. I'm not searching anymore. I'm not meditating anymore. You know, I'm done. And now I finally feel like a normal person. For the first time in my life, I'm not reading about spirituality. I'm not meditating. I just wake up, go to work.
You're not studying numbers, looking at the time of the clock, like, it's 11:11 again. Oh my God. What does it mean?
I'm not looking for patterns. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
There's no synchronicity left in your life.
No. And now how long that will last, I don't know. But right now.
Yeah, we're always changing.
I love it.
Right?
Yeah, it's constant change. But I've never felt better.
Really?
I feel like you know when you're 11 and shit's just rad because you're 11. Because you don't have. That's how I feel right now.
There's no responsibility. There's nothing.
There's no existential
If I don't do this, then oh my God. And I love those people. It's like
exactly.
That's what when you
living.
Truly love yourself. Is like when
you're just living.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that. Part of that I've always.
I'm done.
I've never hitchhiked, for example. Like, why haven't I just trusted the universe to take me somewhere?
Yeah.
Because I have things to do.
Yeah. Responsibilities, things to do. Yeah.
And I care about all those things and the people that they.
And I still do. Like I have child support to pay, and I love my kids, and I have bills.
Right, I have my child support, and I get to see my kid often.
And I'm done with this journey. I'm off. I got off the train.
So how long did you do that for? Like that little hiatus off of normal stand.
3.5 months.
Yeah, that sounds about
3.5
right.
months. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you had some pretty good epiphanies through there.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody, yeah. If you just, just be still, you'll have some.
That's really huge. Like just being still.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. It's
hard.
so hard to be still.
It's so funny. It's like when my clients.
Every one of our fucking
every
parts is vibrating
Yeah.
constantly to make this a
it should be
tangible
the
thing in what we perceive as time.
It should be the easiest thing, and it's the opposite. When I have clients that come in and they're like, "I'm trying to grow my hair out, right?" and they want me to cut it, and because I'm a barber, and I'm always like, you know what? It's so funny. Growing your hair out is the hardest thing in the world, and it should be the easiest thing in the world. Just don't do anything. Just literally just don't fucking do anything.
I can't.
That shit will grow forever. But you can't because it's so hard. It gets to this like, yeah. It's just being still.
My hair grows straight the fuck out, and then it starts curling right here.
Yeah.
Like, I would not...
But if you wanted to grow it out to here, just don't do anything.
No, I want it to grow down to here. I don't want it to grow up to here.
Yeah, you're screwed on
it's
that.
no good.
Yeah.
No
but
good.
even people that will, and it's all great, they get to those fucking weird bad in-betweens, and then...
Yeah, but this is controllable. This is controllable all the time.
Exactly.
We have almost the same kind of haircuts. Like,
except mine's straight.
One fade up to finger length, a little extra in the front, round in the back. I've said that so many times in my life now.
Yeah, if Ellen went to boot camp.
I'm going to use that next time I get a haircut. Can I get Ellen DeGeneres boot camp?
Just give you that Ellen 6 weeks into boot camp.
Right?
Yeah. But yeah, being still.
Can I get Ellen just coming out? That'd be great.
Being still should be the most natural, easy thing that there is, but it's the opposite.
Oh
it's
no,
so
and you're
struggling
to get still, even just to fall asleep. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I have to... I mean, so... Drinking's always been a factor of my falling asleep. Not because I'm getting drunk every day. I almost never get drunk.
I'm not an alcoholic. I like sleep.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I consider myself an alcoholic because I drink. I can drink from morning till night until I go to sleep and never get drunk.
Okay, the thing is, you don't love alcohol. You love sleep.
Right. But I'm also sipping all day. I'm not pounding. I'm not...
Sure, yeah.
I'm not like... Like... We've been doing this podcast for so long, and I'm drinking my normal amount right now. You saw me take one sip of Fireball, and I have beer here.
Yeah.
But that's how I like to... I could do that all day, every day.
Yeah.
That's why I'm taking a month off, because I'm like, well, why am I... you know why I do it?
What it's like?
I know, I do it to have the risk factor. Like, all right, I'm pretty sure they know that I'm drinking at work. Or something, Like, Edit, yeah.
Edit.
No, I could just be totally honest.
Yeah.
But I'm never intoxicated.
Yeah.
It's like I'm slowly building my tolerance for no reason. It just costs me money.
Yeah.
Bad for my love handles.
Yeah. It's bad for this, bad for the liver. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure my liver is like, yeah, you've been doing this for a while now.
I'm
keeping up with you.
Let me ask you this: the term, because you don't hear this in other abuse patterns and behaviors. The term alcoholic, like you don't hear like cigarette-aholic. You don't hear this.
Right.
It's such a negative connotation. The word alcoholic.
Right. As opposed to drinker.
Yeah.
Like a smoker's a smoker.
Yeah.
And actually, every alcoholic in Anonymous is also a smoker.
Yeah.
And a candy-holic.
So I'm curious. I'm curious how you feel about this.
They got a sweet tooth.
I'm probably self-aggrandizing and I'm also probably justifying, but the term alcoholic, I don't want to grab onto it in a sense that I feel like if your alcohol intake causes negative consequences, you're an alcoholic. You miss work, you're angry, you don't do this,
you're blacking out all the time.
Whatever it is, or you gamble, or whatever it is. But if it actually doesn't have any really negative impact on your life, like, are you an alcoholic? I kind of want to say no, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's just me trying to get out of the term.
Well, I've always liked that one-liner, like, I'm not an alcoholic, I don't go to meetings.
Exactly, I love that.
Right. Actually, I think that is kind of true. Like, if you admit yourself to those meetings because they help you see other people that make you feel good about yourself. That's how I look at those meetings.
Thank you.
Every time I went to one of those meetings, I was like, oh, shit, could have got there, I guess.
This is my favorite flaw about the AA system, and if it works for you, I love it. Yes. Now,
I know people that works for too. Same with Christianity. Same with
any system that works for you. I say
anything you go to weekly or more.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also, I can pick apart systems in my own way. This cracks me up with AA in general. Is you have to believe. Now, this isn't. You have to believe in a being larger than yourself. You know, label it God, label it whatever you want. Right?
Yeah.
You have to, or it
even
will
your
not
higher
work.
self,
whatever you want to call it, or it will not work. This system will only work.
Isn't that step 2?
I don't know what step it is.
It's 1 or 2.
But it's a principle.
Yeah,
it's a principle that this.
They quote it every time. It's like their prayer.
Yeah. But this is my favorite part, and they're like, but if you don't, just make one up. Wait, hold on, time out. So like, your whole system, the only way it'll work is for me to believe on this thing. But if I don't, I'll just make it up. Spider-Man's my god.
That's actually one of the things.
It's so counter.
That would be okay.
But I kind of like it too.
I like it.
I kind of like it too.
It works for
if you don't, make it up.
Yeah, psychology backs this up.
Yeah,
You need to believe that there's something better,
purposeful, better,
something good, or something goal oriented. I don't know. There's
something that's not nihilism.
Something that wants you to love you.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Something that wants you to be the best you, or something like that.
All bullshit. I love that it's all bullshit.
I know.
But it's not.
But it's not because it's part of our psychology, and it's in our DNA for a reason.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that reason is, but I think there's a lot of answers within that.
Well, I was in a relationship for a long time with a hardcore nihilist. So
what's hardcore nihilism like?
Well, what I love
I believe in nothing.
Yeah, we believe in nothing, Lebowski. So what I loved about it is that she actually taught me the beauty of it, because everything is yin yang, everything is contradictory. If nothing matters, if literally nothing matters,
yin yang,
then everything matters.
Yin yang.
Then everything matters.
I so believe in the balance.
I loved that. Like, if you take nihilism to its furthest extreme, it's the most compassionate thing there is. Because if nothing matters, then everything matters. Like, to be, you have to be the most sympathetic, rather than, fuck it doesn't matter, let's burn the world down. And I liked it. I liked it. It's similar in the sense of AA, like, you must believe in this higher power. Right. But if you don't, because if there's make it up.
Well,
just make it up.
Because the alternative is like, I'm the highest power, then why the fuck would I care to make myself better?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's the psychology in that part of it.
That's where I celebrate contradiction. I love contradiction. I'm Gemini.
Well, the best jokes are always yeah. I mean, Anthony Jeselnik is probably my favorite.
Thank you.
Comedian.
Oh, you're saying that because I'm here.
No. Did you see his new special?
Yeah, he's why I started comedy.
God.
He's why I started comedy.
Dude, he's the only comedian I could probably quote 15 minutes of his bits.
Me too.
Right off the top of my head, in cadence, with the timing.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, we could do this all day. If we go back and forth.
Oh, that would be fun.
That would be so much fun. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know if I'd get to be able to post this on YouTube if we did the so much plagiarism.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we're saying it's him.
Yeah, we could both do at least half an hour of Jeselnik.
So my mom was asking me about stand-up comedy when I started doing it, and I couldn't remember any of my jokes right offhand. So I just started quoting Anthony Jeselnik's jokes to my mom, especially the chocolate one and the makeup one.
Chocolate's my favorite.
Chocolate and makeup, man.
Why can't you be that skinny?
Why can't you be that skinny? I think your mom tried to have sex with me last night. Anthony, that's impossible. Well, in that case, you should always wear makeup.
Yep.
Oh my God!
I quote him 10 times a day at my
That joke usually gets a standing ovation.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. Brilliant.
I watched the Jeselnik special. I had the flu. This is like 11 years ago.
I was going to say 2 weeks ago?
No.
A week ago?
Like 11 years ago, I watched him like the Jim Norton HBO thing. And then I thought of a joke. It was the first joke that I constructed, like just laying on the couch with the flu. And it made me laugh, and then it made me laugh really hard, and then it made me laugh so hard where like that stupid, painful laugh. And I'm like, I'm laughing at the
to yourself, to your own joke.
It's not even a good joke. and you've heard it. It's the one that Jake hates this joke so much.
I probably like it.
But it's a much longer bit, but the shortest version of the joke is the martial art thing. Like my friends are like, why are you so obsessed with this martial art stuff? You know, growing up with it, why are you so obsessed with it? And like, look at me, you know how small I am. Like, if I'm out on the town, you know, with a beautiful girl, and for whatever reason, you know, things go horribly wrong. You know, I need to know that if I had to, I could rape her.
I love that joke. I thought you were going to say kick her ass, but
I died laughing. Now I had
I have a whole joke. I have a whole joke about kicking my girlfriend's ass too.
I love it
because she's only 98 pounds.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like,
that was my joke moment, and then I just started writing. I just started writing like mad. I wasn't even gonna do stand up. I just started writing like crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Because the guy inspired me.
So I wrote.
my spirit
I wrote a Justin like joke as well. I don't know if you heard this one. So I love being a father. I'm a great part-time father. Because you should only have your kid for so long, really. There's a reason it takes a village. I'm just so glad that I had a son. Because my son he wants to be kind of like me, you know, and we have this different kind of male bonding, you know. Like I could still cuddle with him. He's like 12, and I'm like, oh, get over here, you know, knucklehead. Punch him a few times, and he cries, but you know, cry together, kind of. But if I had a daughter, it would be totally different. I don't think I could react the same way. I've gone through this in my head so many times because, you know, I have this beautiful little girl, and you know, she needs to be protected. And so whenever like a date would come to take her out, you know, I'd be like, oh, well, like, go finish getting ready upstairs, because in the future I have a 2-story house. Go get ready upstairs and bring him in. And you're like, all right, you know, that's my little girl up there, in the 2-story house. That's my little girl. She means everything to me. So I want you to know, if you get her pregnant, you're paying for the abortion. You know, you know, you gotta throw that twist ending on there, and you've always been really good at those twist endings. I really like that about your comedy. Is always. I've never seen you do a set. Well, actually, no, once. You did a set, and you were like, "Yeah, fuck it, I don't care."
I've done that a few times. Yeah. I bombed so hard last set, dude. It was.
When was that?
Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, open mic?
Well, it was fight mic night.
Oh, I was actually gonna go to that, but I had my boy and I was tired.
It's one of the worst bombs I've ever done.
Really? Were you doing all new stuff?
Mostly new stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I mean, it was more like they weren't digging me, and then I pulled
really?
the stand, and I'm like, oh,
you're obviously the most handsome comedian there. Because there's Dylan, Colin. That's right.
No. There's some California dudes that rolled through that destroyed. They were amazing. They just destroyed.
No way. So what?
They were so good.
Wait, what about Bronson? Was Bronson there?
Yeah. Well, he didn't perform, but he was there. Yeah, way better. He's like the.
Well,
if I was Thor,
yeah. Okay. So Bronson.
If I was Thor, he's way pretty.
He's the Thor of comedians. He is a beautiful man.
He's buff and pretty, and yeah.
He lives in a van by the river, and you'd still rather fuck him over than me.
The kid that won, it was like Jeff Goldblum's like grandson. But he was so pretty. He was so pretty.
No way.
And he was so funny. I started questioning my shit. Like I don't know. Maybe I could live with this guy.
Maybe I could suck a dick. How rich are you gonna be?
Yeah. How exactly?
I can invest for the future.
Who's your agent, dude? Like
yeah.
Who's your agent?
There's people with agents there. That's not our open mind.
I would say his name, but I Facebook friended him, and he'd probably get a little embarrassed.
Right.
But yeah, there's some California people that just destroyed, and I fucking bombed horribly.
Wow.
Yeah. But I enjoyed the bomb because as soon as it went bad, I was like, oh, you didn't like that? Oh, really?
Oh.
Oh, well then let's just keep going with And
I can get sicker.
Yeah. I kind of like doing that.
Right. You're like, the cigarette's out, but I want to get all the way to
not
the
if it's a
butt.
show that counts. Like if it's a friend that's doing a show, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
But super fight might, of course.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like a lot of my friends, friends that have gotten me into comedy, they just don't want to produce shows anymore because that shit's stressful.
Oh my god, that's why to me, Katie's the fucking
she's the bomb
chick in the world. How do you put in that much time and effort
and
doing
still,
stuff that I would hate doing every minute of what
dude,
she
I
does.
don't even blame her
And
that.
she's-
I know
she's
her set almost
so-
as good as Anthony Jeselnik's.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she had to repeat it for so long because she didn't have any time to
She has
fucking
no
write.
time. She has, yeah, exactly. And then when she does have a new one, it's always really fucking good. It just keeps going.
Throw out and props to Katie
Yeah.
Ipoc and
Yeah, she keeps
Apocalyptic
going.
Productions.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
wonderful
I've never
person.
seen somebody work that
She
hard.
always books me for roasts. She never books
Yeah.
me for shows.
Yeah,
But I
kinda
love her.
same-
I love her
kinda
to
the
death.
Same. Yeah.
I think maybe I do too good at the roast,
Yeah.
and she doesn't like me
No,
personally.
she-
But she will never tell me that.
No, I don't think that's true. I don't think
It's probably not.
that's probably. But
It's probably because I'm not there for.
But she likes me personally. She doesn't book me because.
I feel like we belong to
the
other.
darkness could go too dark. That's fair.
Yeah.
I wouldn't book me. Come on. I mean,
Yeah. Some of the
I
new
just
shit I've been
told a
writing.
rape joke a couple minutes ago.
Oh man, I invented this thing. Well, because like the number one is you take a piss. You're like I'll be right back. Number two, give me a minute. And number three, not something that's normally done in a public bathroom, but I've done it plenty of times. That's ejaculation. Women probably don't do that, or at least not in groups. Number four, I invented. It's called the Schwippet.
The Schwippet.
Yeah, that's when you take whippets while taking a shit. Like when you're taking like a horrible, nasty, like
You just opened
like
my mind.
I
My
ate
third
so
eye
much Taco Bell last night. Like I woke up with a fire sauce packet on my face, Coyote Ugly style. I was about to chew my arm off just to get away from what shame I had. Just like there.
Yeah.
And that shit's coming.
Oh yeah.
But you have hippie crack, aka nitrous oxide, via however you want to do it.
Now I want
There's lots of processes.
Now I want to do it.
Yeah, well we can. We'll do it. We'll wait. We'll wait till.
Another time.
It's not really podcast worthy.
Hey, everybody, watch this.
Yeah. That video already exists,
Give me
but
2 more murders.
it's not from like two mature men. Yeah, Schwip it. So it's gonna burn. It's gonna come out not the way that is healthy. So you just do a whip it while you're doing it, and all of a sudden you're happy. And it was designed to like block pain, entrances and exits. So it just
so many
works.
questions. I have so many questions.
Yeah.
So I do like hardcore whip it. And I turn on the faucet, and the water gets that metallic.
Yeah.
So does that come out from the prostate hole? Like, is the feeling of the exit? Is it whippity? Like, is it?
Oh.
What's going on when the whole thing's happening?
So instead of the
Describe
burning and feeling
experience,
and feeling bad about your
I
actions,
need to know.
your brain just goes, you know what? There's a lot of happy things in life. And like, oh, exit negative, great.
You just saved me so much suffering.
Yeah.
Because I have irritable bowel syndrome.
Well, like.
So thank you.
Usually don't go to Taco Bell willingly. It's usually like 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
I've been drinking. I thought I was probably gonna get laid, but I'm not. So let's eat some Taco Bell. I mean, that's my Taco Bell syndrome.
Yeah.
Like,
and
it tastes so good going down when you're fucking high and buzzed, and you still made it home. Driving yourself, and you probably shouldn't have. And
when the buzz starts wearing off is when it starts gurgling.
Yeah. The times I almost like the closest wrecks I've ever almost gotten into, because I haven't been I drive like a grandma because I'm always drinking. But that drive-through can be tricky sometimes. The stick shift.
Yeah.
Buzz.
You got the corner.
You're just looking forward to like eating $10 worth of Taco Bell and going to sleep.
There's concrete barriers on each side.
Right. You're contemplating, do I want to try Diablo sauce again? But you got to stick with fire. And it's going to ask me to marry it. That always makes me feel well. It's that brick wall right there. I get a little close to it. Real close.
Does your wheel rub?
No. It's just more like, oh, my mirror's not pointing the right direction. I think I need to get home. I've never gone through a drive-through in reverse.
On accident.
I've heard it's funny.
It's not.
I mean, if you're sober, I'd do it. I'd do it sober.
Yeah, then it would be, yeah.
All right, this is the back end. Is that a van from the front to the? Nope. It tapers down. Right. Okay, there's the person. He's got to reach really far to hand me that card.
He's got some long arms.
Looks like a credit card. Oh, that didn't go through. you ever been at like a bar, and you're with like a group?
Yeah, I've been to a bar.
Yeah. Maybe I wasn't quick enough. With a group of people, you're there with a group of people, and they all order stuff, and then they just leave, and then you're the last person there, and then none of them pay their tabs. You have to pay the whole thing.
I'm the guy that leaves with the group and leaves you behind. So no.
It's okay. I have a plan.
No. What's the
Well, I've pulled this off twice.
To me.
So what you do is you get the credit card offers, in the mail. You accept those, and then after you've used it a few times and then paid it off, you cancel the card. And then you hand them that, and then get the fuck out before they run it. Yeah.
That's a great
Try not
idea.
to stay as close to the computer as you can. You know what I mean?
And
You don't want to be right next to the computer and try to pull this one off.
Yeah.
But it's definitely saved me a few $100s over the years.
It's
Yeah.
not a bad idea.
It's just a backup emergency card.
So one of my clients this morning said he was at a bar just the night previously, and he said I won't say which one, but this gal comes in and sits next to him. She orders a beer. She starts sipping on her beer, and the bartender comes up and goes, "Oh hey, so and so, Jill, Sarah, whatever. Yeah, we still have your tab from last night." And she's like, "Oh, cool, right on." And she says, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick." He said she put a coaster on her drink. Like she was going to
Save it. I'll be right back for that.
He said she never came back.
Yeah, I still don't go into was that Velvet downtown?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a $200 one there one time.
Yeah.
Because all these girls they started getting in a fight, know, and I pretty much was sure I wasn't gonna fuck any of them. And we had like 3 of those buckets of the green tea vodka thing you share with a group. It's got like 2 spouts on it and shit. Yeah. Those things are not cheap.
No, they're not.
No.
But
they were for me.
Podcast wise, you should have said a different name than Velvet.
I still don't go in there. You guys can fuck off. You're not gonna, no one that
not
works there.
From this guy.
That was like 6 years ago, man. Like no one that works there now works.
They've written it off. They're fine.
There then, yeah.
It's a write-off, Jerry. Yeah, they're fine.
Someone just totally let her down. They did seem emotional, except for the guy that paid.
Every time
I was cold, stone cold. I was on Price is Right.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, it was in Redmond.
No.
Wait, what?
So the day I turned 18, we were on vacation down in LA.
Okay.
And my parents had gotten because the tickets to Price is Right are free. It turns out it doesn't cost nothing. It costs you your whole fucking day. You're like in line to get into the show for like 6 hours.
Interviews and stuff? Or?
There's some of that.
Okay.
But the first part is just waiting in groups. You're waiting. But I was with 2 drama friends of mine. And
you mean in drama? They weren't just.
Yeah, no, not
they
like
weren't just dickheads.
No, not girlfriends.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was in a 3-way.
No, so we were playing like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
Which is really weird since Drew Carey is now the guy.
Yeah.
This is back with Bob.
Oh, with Bob.
Yeah.
The black belt.
Oh my God, he was amazing.
Beautiful man.
So we were in the line and we were doing so they do like group interviews of like 10 people at a time as you're going through. And we'd been like pretty lively in line the whole time.
No.
And then we got into that group thing, and I was like, "Yeah, I turned 18 today. It's my fucking birthday." And then I like.
Was it actually your birthday?
It was literally my birthday.
Okay, yeah.
So March 28th, 16 years ago. 2003, 2001. I don't know. It was up. It was like 1.
Yeah.
So we go in, and first 3 contestants are up, and 2 more go up. And so it's the middle time, there's the break in the middle, and where they just done like the thing, and whoever in that group gets to go to the main prize or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I was the first one called up after that, so I got to vote or bid 3 times for whatever was on stage.
You were at the podium.
At the podium
with the skinny microphone.
Yeah.
Bidding.
Right.
In L.A. Burbank, on The Price is Right with Bob Barker.
Yeah. Literally,
dude, take your
3
pants
feet.
off. Take your pants off.
3 feet away from him.
No way.
I was watching flies get stuck to his face. He wears so much makeup. Like it was an incredible amount of makeup. You can't tell on camera. You can't tell on camera.
Yeah.
I should wear makeup for this. You would never know. Yeah. So and then I'd never seen women like the like the girls,
model
yeah,
showcase
the
ladies.
model,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
showcase
yeah.
ladies and stuff. I'd never seen women like that in real life because I grew up in Roseburg.
Okay.
And even here, you don't see women that look like.
No,
that.
I grew up in SoCal. I know what they look like. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's different.
It's
they make them in a factory.
Like when you see tins, it's like, well, huh?
Yeah.
I wanted to marry her.
My life is in a spiral now. I didn't know they existed.
I guess it cost $1, Bob. I can't stop looking at her ass.
Yeah. Did you bid $1?
I did get to bid $1. I did it even though I knew I was gonna lose. I was like, fuck it. I just had to buy. I had to do one.
Dude, were you on TV?
Yeah. I was on TV. I never got up on stage, and I was so pissed off because I was a chef even then. At 18, I was already was priding myself on my chefhood. Yeah. And chefhood. It looks like a grill. I got a grill. So a grill came up as for one of the things to bid on.
No.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, I saw that grill last week. Fucking whatever store it was. I was like,
shit at Home Depot. I know.
I was like, $7.75. Yeah. Guaranteed. $7.75.
On the dot.
Right? Yeah. Next guy. $7.76. Motherfucker! This is the last one.
Should have choked him out.
Oh, dude.
Choked him out.
Just full on jujitsu.
Just rear naked and just immediately.
Dude, my 12-year-old son can choke me out within 3 seconds now.
Well,
I've been having him do it for like 6 years.
Anybody that can get those carotid arteries will get you in a
Yeah, so he knows exactly the focal points.
Yeah,
and he pushes the head down really hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's important.
Because the dad. You were on The Price is Right.
I was so I got to actually meet Bob Barker, shake his hand, and also Rod Rodney was still.
No way.
Yeah, sparkly jacket and shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am so peanut butter and jealous as motherfuck.
Yeah. That's the only time I've ever actually been on national television.
Yeah, I've never been on national television.
It was a brief and not like victorious debut. However,
you didn't get your SAG card and be like the third Nazi on Schindler's List or anything.
No, I was out of high school briefly after that, and then they're not asking you to be the star of many plays after that.
Yeah.
And I was the star of every play in Christian school.
Whoa. What is that innuendo? What does that mean?
No, no. There wasn't any talent there. It was really weird. I went from public school, big public school, like a 4-H. I don't. What do you call it? However many stars your football team has. I went from a decent one of those, like state champions and stuff, and then I got pulled out of regular school because I started smoking weed and lying to my mother.
Smoking weed
and
getting laid.
Yeah.
So
they're like 10th grade. 10th grade is too young for this. So I'm like, you know how many cultures I could.
Yeah.
Those arguments weren't working. So they just sent me to Christian school, and I was super bummed about it.
Can't I go to Iraq?
I was super bummed that I was going to start going to Christian school because I really did like the weed and sex.
Until you met the skanks.
There was none.
What?
It was seriously Christian school. I think I was the only guy who was smoking weed there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met a lot of pent-up sexual energy girls.
First day, instantly, most popular guy in the school.
Yeah.
Big fish, small pond syndrome.
Yeah, you're about ready to start selling weed.
Dude, they found my weed one time, and they said it was this bum that dropped it off in the dumpster, and I had to throw it away. Me and my buddy flushed it.
Mm-hmm. Big fish, small pond syndrome. I like that.
Yeah, we hung out after school. Yeah, so I was student body president. I ran. Nobody ran against me. Nobody even ran against me. I was like, dude, I could see 8 different people in this room who'd be better than this. Than me. But I got to leave class.
Contest. Yeah.
It was a popularity contest, even in Christian school.
The big fish, small pond is the best scenario. It really is.
It really is. And I wasn't even a medium fish in public school.
Yeah.
But I went there with confidence.
Sure.
Like, yeah, fuck off.
Yeah, I still weed and I get laid.
And I also, but I Jesused up too.
Well, you have to do both.
Yeah.
No, I know. I grew up in it.
I mean, I was all about it, and I was serious too. I figured if I got like my 8th baptism, maybe that one would take.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should have known after 3 baptisms it wasn't going to take.
You know what got me to finally flip on not being a Christian anymore?
What's that?
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. I was just,
No. I was done.
Okay. So the big fish in the small pond kind of thing. So I got to Oregon. I was 18. And California, big school, big. I get here, and now all of a sudden, kind of big fish, small pond scenario. The old man has this church he wants me to go to. I go to it. A lot of cute girls. So the leadership, after like a year and a half or so, realizes, okay, so this kid is the party kid. This is the kid that's having the parties. He's doing the drugs. He's getting laid. But he also is like all super devoted to Jesus.
Right, which is good for our cause.
So I'm at a camp, right? And they're like we need to talk to you. So I think I'm in trouble. The elders want to talk to me.
Oh no, they found my bag.
I am so in trouble, right? Who did I bang? What happened? And they completely put it online. So you're good at storytelling. All these kids like you. We know that you've been doing all these terrible things. We want you in leadership. And I'm like, wait, what? We need to start priming you. I'm like, and I understand education. I'm like, but I didn't go to college for this. I didn't go to Bible college. I didn't, like, we have our own program. And I started asking, like, I'd like to know about this program. And they start describing it to me. And this is beyond
what kind of church was this? I'm curious because I know all the sects.
Oh, sure.
S-E-C-T-S.
This was Pentecostal.
Oh no way!
Yeah.
I never got to the Pentecostal.
Oh, if you hate gays and believe in magic, you'll fit in. Like, yeah.
I was more like Calvinistic.
Yeah, it's very Calvinistic.
Okay.
Oh, it really is. Yeah. So as I'm asking questions, and I'm realizing like, so Bible study. We've been to Bible study for all this time. We pick a subject and we pick out scriptures. And do we find out like when this was written by who, in what context? In what part of history
and how the translation.
So basically, textual criticism. That's basically like if you go to any actual college and you do any,
they have the answers for it there.
They'll have your first class textual criticism, and I'm like, oh, so like that. They're like, oh no, we don't know. God no. And I went home going,
God
oh my God,
His word.
Oh my God, it's just fucking. This is bad Marine recruitment. Like, I am fucking all these chicks. I'm doing all these drugs, but I'm also like a really good bullshit car salesman. They want a fucking car salesman. And that made me actually question everything and finally lose my faith. That they didn't get mad at me. They were not like, we're upset that you're drinking and doing drugs and having sex with... They're like, you're doing all these things and they like you. Come on over to the elder side and act like you're a fucking expert at something that you know nothing about.
Do you consider that an awakening, that realization when you had that?
Absolutely. It floored me. It took me a couple days. I mean, I had to sit on it. Because it's enticing. You're like, wait, you're going to pay me? I can take some bullshit classes that a third grade mentally challenged kid could pass.
69. Yeah.
And, and then you're going to give me the bullshit certificate, and then I can just, like, tell people how to live their lives and then like manipulate them and control them. Like, that is enticing as fuck. And I'm young, and at the same time I'm like, wait, I want to believe this. I like the idea of the gospel of giving to the poor and self-sacrifice.
Right,
this
and forgiveness. Forgiveness. Let alone forgiveness.
Non-judgment. Wait, love my enemy? Don't just love my friend, but love my enemy. Like, I wanted that.
Right.
I wanted to love my enemy.
I still have that part of it.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, oh no, you can't love your enemy. God, Jesus, no, fuck. This is a business. This is we need marketing people.
Do you ever go evangelize? I remember doing
I went downtown, and this is downtown Bend.
Oh
God. Because there was a really cute girl I wanted to hook up with, and I was like 18, and doing the evangelizing thing. We come to this bench, and there's a girl. She's maybe 19, 20, and they're evangelizing to her, and she actually starts being super honest, and she's like, "You guys, I'm serious. I have some stuff that is killing me," and she just pours her heart out. Like, these are serious issues that I have that I need solutions to. Please help me. And they started giving her those canned bullshit responses that you get if you grow up in fundamental.
Jesus can help you.
And then I was so on fire for Jesus. I stood back going, "Oh my God, this is the most evil thing I've ever seen."
Nobody's dealing with.
She's
what
crying.
She's actually,
she starts crying, and all I have is nothing but sympathy and empathy. I just want to hug her and go, "I can help you," but I didn't have anything. because all I had was the bullshit canned answers that they gave.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've just been conditioned like them, and they were actually trying to just get her to join the marketing squad, and they don't know. I mean, they're zombie kids.
Well, yeah, but what Jesus would have done, it was wept on her feet and cleaned it with his hair.
Exactly.
He would have washed her feet with his tears and cleaned it with his hair.
What do you need, sweetie? What's
he would have?
Can I carry you across the street? Can I?
I don't need you to follow me, but what do you need?
What do you need? Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember that being, and that was like one of the first shocking things. I'm like, I'm never evangelizing again. I'm never going out. And then I get on to C.S. Lewis. I'm going to be an apologetic. I'm going to be an intellectual Christian. And I try to be an intellectual Christian.
Oh yeah, I went on the C.S. Lewis train.
We all do. I'm gonna try.
Well, I mean, he wasn't a brilliant writer.
He's great. But I'm going to be apologetic. I'm going to approach this not from the fundamentals, but from the more critical thinking,
side of it. Yeah.
Side of it, of course. And then that happened where I was at this camp where they're
psychology for
like,
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, we want you to join our elders group and become a youth pastor. That story I told. And then that was my
totally
second one.
See you as a youth pastor. I'm sorry.
Shit. I know, right? I know. It's so horrible.
Oh my God! No. I think I had a youth pastor that looked like you.
Instead, I have the chemical composition.
He's so funny.
I have LSD, MDMA, and DMT chemical composition tattooed to my chest, rather than youth pastor. That's the path I chose, and I would choose it every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Yeah.
Twice on Sunday.
Horoscope, tree of life. That kind of encompasses a lot of shit.
LSD, MDMA, DMT.
All connected?
No, they're separate, but it looks connected.
That's cool.
That's the path I chose.
That's a cool one.
That's the path I chose.
I'm gonna not copy that now that I know you have it.
And I would choose it every day. If they're like, you don't want to be a youth pastor, or would you just get stabbed to death by this homeless guy? I'm like, bring on the homeless guy.
Okay, so you don't consider like you're awakening though you're leaving from religion? Because I had one of those, but it came through just being selfish for the first time.
Sure.
I got to just be selfish after I got divorced.
Pure.
I got to just be exactly me. I was like, fucking her, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and then my life started kind of going. And so then I found that balance. I started studying Zen. I started the Tao Te Ching or whatever. And I started figuring out my own little middle way, for me. Yeah. And there's the start of the Carnal Sageness.
Yeah.
But my real awakening.
Okay.
My real awakening was I was in 6 months deep in a meth binge. I dated a girl from La Pine.
I assumed.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
I know you, so I assumed.
Craigslist, okay, Cupid. You'll get these things every once in a while. And I was losing my house at the time, which was fine because I hadn't paid my mortgage in 2 years. But it was during the housing crisis market, and so I was a low totem pole foreclosure. So it took them a couple years to get to me. So no rent for 2 years. Just drinking myself into a hole. This is when you could record your TV shows came out, like TiVo or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Nobody uses that anymore because everything's just live internet. But at the time, it was I had all these recorded shows that would automatically record, and I would just smoke weed, grow weed, and drink whiskey all day, and then fuck whatever girlfriend I had for the 4 to 6 month period. Serial monogamous always happened. And I started dating this girl, and I was like, man, I gotta clean this place up. They're gonna, take everything out here pretty soon. I'm surprised it's not condemned. She's like, oh, well, I always like to do a little coffee before, I clean. And she pulls out this bag of meth, and I was like,
if you like coffee.
Oh, I know what that is.
I watched
because I dabbled 2 times maybe before that, 2 or 3 times, and I always hated it because I was like, I can't get hard, and I want to eat delicious food and I have it, but I can't eat it.
I have no appetite. And
I haven't slept and I don't feel right today, But if you do it every day, it's totally fine. So anyway, I was about 6 months deep into this shit with her.
That was my mistake. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I moved in with her. House was clean though.
I don't want to eat off the toilet.
The house was clean. I was 6 months deep in, and I started doing art because I lost my job. I started doing art, and I was really enjoying doing art. And then I started looking into meditation. And then I started getting into my horoscope and stuff, like Aries, you know, I'm fire, you know. And then I started looking up stuff about what that means. And then I read this thing. It was like, Aries are great metaphysical conversationalists. I was like, damn straight.
Damn straight, you are.
What the fuck does metaphysical mean? I'd never heard that word before.
Really?
But it felt like it was like, that's a word that I feel like I relate to.
Yeah.
But I might not know what that means. So I started looking up metaphysical. Well, metaphysical means basically beyond the physical, things we can't prove, like why prayer works, you know, or why people can change the shape of water when it freezes based on intention, why all sorts of like untangible but very real things that are somewhat scientifically constructed or possible but not provable, or like just what our powers are as human beings, what our conscience and what our minds can do. And I got super into it. I even joined the University of Metaphysical Science. Made it through 3 courses. My path changed a little bit. So my awakening was I had just done a fat not Charlie. No, it was Marley. Nope, not Marley either. That's weed. Tharley. It was gnarly. Let's do a gnarly. I did a gnarly.
Big gnarly. Yeah.
So I knew I was going to be up all night, and well, my dick wasn't going to work, so my girlfriend doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I just researched what metaphysical meant for about 18 hours in a row, and something switched. Like, it was between when I thought, what the fuck does metaphysical mean, and what does it mean to me? So like that 18 hours was my big awakening. And that's when I got into like sound healing, getting in deep into meditation, breathing techniques. I got different friends. I broke up with that girlfriend, you know, slept for 3 days, got over that bullshit. And then I just did like this weird spiritual path. Like, if you looked at my Facebook posts from like 2011 to 2012, it's very deep, weird shit. And it's all very woo-woo and fluffy. But that was my awakening, you know? Like, and I tried to embrace a new church. There's the Unity community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out those are all bitter old ex-Catholics.
Yeah, it's
but they still want to be, you know,
atheists that want to put their kids in Sunday school.
They're atheists that believe that
the guy that runs it, the Unitarian Universalist. That's what he told me. I love that.
Oh my god,
I just like that.
Don't know if you believe crystals can make your bones better, or you know, crystals have powers, and you know that Reiki feels as good as a massage. You know, you could be part of that church.
Okay.
Turns out I like to actually massage people.
Yeah.
I like crystals because they're pretty.
Yeah.
You know, like this is fluorite. This is good for everything that's green. So I guess that's your heart, your intuition.
You like evidence-based.
I like evidence-based spirituality. I believe in science. I believe in numbers, but not numerologies per se.
Sure.
I mean, I'm a 7. That means a lot of things that I don't know about. You could go there.
Chasing the...
I'm not chasing the spiritual dragon anymore.
Sure.
But I that was the beginning of my wake. Like, it reintroduced a spirituality to me that I could understand, not necessarily grasp, but pursue for a minute, and then make my own decision. It didn't judge you if you decided against it, which was different than Christianity. Like, if you're a Christian and you go, hey, Jesus wasn't real, but you guys are awesome. Can I hang out? They're like, no. Yeah. You know? But the Unity community was the opposite. Like, hey, I'm kind of like you guys, and I have lots of questions, and you guys, when you don't have answers for them, you go, yeah, that's cool. I don't know. And I thought that was really cool, but I just hated the scene after a while. So
I have a question about that now.
What?
Okay. God. I have two things for the stupid question. I can't help it. To quote Bill Maher again, when he talked about heroin, he's like, "I don't support heroin, but it sure helped my record collection." I don't support meth. I'm not telling you to. I'm so glad that you're awakening and meth. Like, that makes so much sense. And why I say that is because
I could stay awake long enough to pay attention and care.
I've known you to a certain degree for a couple of years, but I've also, social media known you when you were doing the metaphysical thing and didn't know what it meant. Since then, your grasp of language, I absolutely adore. I mean, you'll take abstract conceptual ideas and you'll throw it out on social media and you'll use language, which is the most difficult thing because language is so limiting. It's so limiting. But you'll navigate it so well. I admire the shit out of that. I admire the shit out of it. I so do. I so do.
Awesome.
No, it's so rad. I really do. Because meth. Because it was your awakening. No, I don't mean you're doing, because you're awakening.
That was a big part of it because I was asleep. I was drunk. I was stoned. I was just getting laid all the time, and I was getting paid great unemployment.
Yeah.
Because I got fired from the hospital for bullshit reasons. Like, they didn't fire me for any of the shit I should have got fired for.
Sure.
Thank you, nurses. I never got fired because of that stuff. I got fired because of my coworkers finding one of the CDs I had recorded in a professional studio had me naked but with a guitar in front of me. Yeah. And then there was a chick like 5 feet in front of me who had like an angelic scroll tattoo on her back. Yeah. And they said it looked like I was receiving fellatio. I was like, through my guitar? What? Like, how big do you think my dick is, you Christian old bitches? Yeah. Like, how? That's, yeah. But, they still work there, and I don't. And I got paid for 2 years.
Well, that leads to my question here is, I love that was your awakening. I love that. I love that chemicals can do things. I had a girl...
I had a DMT awakening too.
Oh yeah,
I'd love to talk to you about.
I had a girl recently talk about my own addictions and how I should have this ceremony of respecting my addiction spirit, whatever. And it was a side subject. It was neat. I liked it.
It's kind of cool. I'm sure it has its. We all have our own addiction animal, probably.
Yeah. But this comes to my question. So the Unitarian thing. So as growing up in the fundamentalist shit, growing up in the church, whatever church you grew up in. There is a certain part of like community where you all get together.
Yeah,
you
all get together,
right? And that sense of community, I understand that, and I wanted to miss it. I've actually missed it.
I still do.
But at the same time, I kind of don't because I'm going to ask you. So since you went off onto people that are non-judgmental, once you start forming into a group, like George Carlin said, once you start getting into groups, you start wearing armbands and weird hats. Just being part of that large group of 50 plus to doesn't it start becoming dogmatic no matter what?
No matter what.
With the best intentions.
With the best intentions. They still would all hold hands. They still all hold hands in a big circle and say the close song.
Right?
So, which is like what? Oh man, this is fucking AA again.
Yeah, it's where I celebrate contradiction. I love but I don't.
That's the only thing I feel like college has right. Like college has one thing right. You walk in, and you don't have to know anybody in the class, and you listen to the lecture, and then you're gonna get tested on it later. But you don't have nothing to fucking do with anybody.
I love that. I never.
There's no opening, closing.
Yeah. No ceremony.
There's no ceremony.
No ceremony.
Yet I hated college.
Oh, I did too.
It was awful.
I dropped out.
I dropped out too.
Well, I couldn't afford it, or else I would have kept going.
Well. I wasn't taking anything I actually wanted to learn. I wanted to, originally I wanted to be an architectural engineer because I was really good at math. But then I got into deeper math and I was like, if you have to use calculus for building something, I don't want to build something. Yeah. And so then I realized I was a really good cook, and then my wife at the time, because I was married at 18, she's like, hey, you're miserable pulling green chain at the lumber mill.
You pull green chain.
I pulled green chain for about a year and a half. Yeah.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah, I never got carpal tunnel because I got
Yeah.
the fuck out.
Yeah.
My hands are amazing.
Green chain, look it up. Google it.
Yeah.
The rest of the world.
Oh my god, yeah.
Google it.
It's when they take a big log and they lathe it into a single layer, and sometimes it's thick and sometimes it's shitty wood. And you, yeah, Google it.
I've never done it, yeah.
It's rough.
I wouldn't do it.
And the people you work with are rough, which is fine. I didn't care about that. What I did care about is my health is going to go like this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some weird, crazy addiction that's not going to just last 6 months or something. And I'll never get paid better to do anything else.
Yeah, squeeze.
Best I can hope for is a yellow hat.
Juice.
If I have the yellow hat, I can make other people nervous.
Yeah.
That's how that whole hierarchy works there.
That's American capitalism right there, my friend.
Oh, it was perfect in Roseburg. Roseburg Forest Products has it down to a T.
Yeah.
You know, you wear this hard hat if you don't have to worry about the people that wear that color hat. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I couldn't fucking do it.
How'd you become a chef?
Macaroni and cheese.
That actually makes sense. I have to pee so bad I'm gonna die.
You know what? We should actually probably end this podcast.
We should end this podcast. We're gonna start rambling.
Well, I think we already are.
Oh, we started rambling 48 minutes ago.
Either way,
48 minutes.
Whatever let's break this down real quick.
Yeah.
Whatever brings your awakening to you and what you realize.